Hi there folks, welcome to Dunsy's Guitar World. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm always a nice guy. You can ask my wife.
You only gather by the river because that's where they're going to find your body.
Grow feathers and shit in a tree.
So what are we talking about today, Dunsy? Well, we're talking about the Gibson SG. So a very brief history of the Gibson SG. 1961. Gibson redesigned the Les Paul. I mean, it's funny now when you look back, you think, what they stopped making Les Pauls. But I guess at the time they weren't selling enough, so 61 they redesigned the Gibson Les Paul and it becomes the Les Paul SG. It's still called Les Paul, but it's essentially an SG. And it carries the Les Paul name up till 63 when the contract ran out with good old Les. And it becomes known as the SG, and they continue making it all through the 60s, you know, juniors, P90s, specials, 2 P90s, standard, custom, and then they even make a SG Melody Maker. I love the look of an SG Melody Maker. But there's one thing about the Gibson guitars going into the latter half of the 60s after sort of late 65 is the tiny thin nut width. But I'll get onto the width of your nuts later in this video. So in 71 they completely redesigned the SG. Again, it's like, you know, 61 and they stopped making Les Pauls. 71 they redesigned the SG and people are thinking, you know, the model got released, they're thinking, oh dear, that's not so good. So in 71 they did this. They made the standard becomes an SG Deluxe. I mean, the thing that sticks out the most surely has to be the fact that there's a big bloody plate on the front. There is no control cavity on the back. Everything's stuck on the front, just routed, stuck in there. Les Paul style pickguard. I tell you what I love about these is the Gibson stamped covers. So that's really 72 they did these Gibson stamped humbuckers. I mean, they're on guitars later in the years, but I think they only made them in 72. So tells a bit about this SG, Dunsy. So as part of the redesign, they stopped beveling the inside of these cutaways. I mean, they're absolutely flat. Excuse me while I point this guitar at you. I mean no malice. There's no beveling in the cutaways. It looks funny, you know, when you're looking down on this. You know, I'm not a huge SG player, but when you look down on this, you really sort of, you know, you think, God, there's no cutaways. What else did they do? Well, on this particular model, they moved the neck further into the body joint, so it meets right up with the pickup. Prior to that, there was a gap between the neck pickup and the end of the neck. So this joins at the 20th fret. So I mean, I think it's a more stable joint, but again, it's like Les Pauls, it's quite difficult to get right up to the top note. I mean, to be honest, it's a very rare occasion where I'm playing on the last fret of an SG. You know, maybe I've overdid the lagger. I'm doing a live gig and I'm trying to get to the high E, you know, bend that last fret up. You know, very unsuccessfully, may I add. So the neck is moved further into the body, so they have to move the bridge further back. Again, it looks strange, you know, like if you're used to playing SGs, you look at this and think, my God, that's right at the end of the body. So it's got T-tops, which sound fantastic. I mean, I have to say, T-tops sound fantastic, especially on this guitar. Ironically, yet again, in the 70s, people are ripping the T-tops out of the guitars as soon as DiMarzio makes super distortions. You know, people are wanting to drive the front end of their amps a bit more, so rip out the old T-tops and fire in DiMarzio super distortions. Can't fault them, you know, at the time. So it's got the old factory Bigsby, but it says Gibson on it. Now I put a Vibramate on there. I don't know if anybody owns a guitar with a Bigsby, but I'll tell you what, you need to put a good 30 minutes of your life aside to restring one of these bad boys, and if you break one at a gig, you know, you're as well just packing your stuff up and going home. Now the colours that they did on these models were walnut, stain and cherry red. So this one, I mean this one now, this looks like a walnut, but when I took the controls off, took the Bigsby off, it looks like it's cherry red underneath. So I don't know if the finish has faded on this. It used to be cherry red. So it's an old guitar, this, an old lady. I checked the pots and they date to the 51st week of 1971. So I guess this is a 1972 guitar. They're only made for a year. Late 71 into 72. I don't think they were very popular. But that's a shame, because I'll tell you what, they sound good. And I think something that makes it sound good is the fact that the bridge, if you look at the bridge, it's so far away from the bridge pickup. I mean, it takes away a lot of the harshness. I mean, I really like the sound of Gibson SGs. They're very bitey, but I think this one, because of that distance between the bridge and the pickup, I think that takes away some of the harshness. This is a beautiful sounding guitar. I mean, I have to say, if you're playing classic rock, this is the guitar to use. And the neck pickup. I mean, out of all the guitars I own, I think my favourite neck pickup sound is out of this T-top in the neck here. So I've had this guitar refretted. I'll tell you one thing about it, and if you're ever thinking of getting one of these, the nut width is very, very slim. I mean, I'm used to sort of 42, 43 millimeters, but the nut width and the thinness of the neck and the first fret is pretty small. I mean, if you've got big fat sausage fingers, this could be tricky to play the old cowboy chords, you know, to get a D in there. I mean, it's good to have the luxury of doing, you know, 100 takes on a song, because it's difficult to finger these things. That's what she said. And yeah, I mean, it's nice. So it's got a massive head on it as well. I mean, if you're stuck up shit creek without a paddle, you could use this. You could use this to get out of trouble. It's a big headstock. So serial number, made in USA stamp, and the volute. I think the volute comes in 1970 maybe. I mean, don't take what I say as accurate. I would definitely double check my facts on the internet. So it's got a 3-piece mahogany neck, and it's all mahogany. I mean, the grain on it's fantastic. I mean, I rarely take it out. Like a lot of SGs, you're always worried about the neck joint there. I mean, that's not a crack, it's just you can see the finish sort of splitting. I don't think it's about to fall off anytime soon, but it's one of these guitars that is great for recording, but I probably wouldn't take it out to play in a pub fully drunk people. And to be honest, you know, a stage fully drunk guys, I wouldn't do that. It might get broken. So this is very much a home recording guitar for me, but I love the sound of it. So you love the sound of it, Dunsy, but what does it actually sound like? Let's hear what it sounds like. Let's hear some clean tones. So it has a beautiful tone out of both pickups, you know, the bridge and the neck. And together, it sounds absolutely great, man. A bit of overdrive, Dunsy? Let's do it with a bit of overdrive. I mean, I'm not putting so much overdrive on, you know, I'm not playing Stormtroopers of Death here. So just a bit of medium gain, sort of 70s rock tone. We'll see what that sounds like. So again, great sounds. There's a bit of bite from the bridge, but again, you know, I don't know if having the space here, is that making a difference, making it not quite as bitey as normal SG pickups. And the neck, oh man, the neck pickup, absolutely killer, love it. So what I've done, I've put together a tune. Now I'll be honest here, it's a tune in two halves. It's a kind of laid back vibe for the first minute and a half, and then there's a sort of 4 count, and we're into full on up tempo pop punk. So it's all my own work. I mean, I wrote this song in about 25 seconds, so I expect some sort of major songwriting reward at some point this year, and tried to put as many sounds as I could from this fine guitar. So I do hope you've enjoyed this video. As ever, it's a privilege and a pleasure bringing you guitar content on YouTube on Dunsy's Guitar World. Cheers for now.